Hello and welcome. I'm Peggy. Thank you for sharing part of your day with us. And today we have people here from the Red Cross. And you know, whenever there's an emergency or a tragedy or a need to be met, we think of our police and our fire department, those people who serve us and save lives, and what else? The good old American Red Cross. And I am so pleased to have from Asheville, North Carolina, Carolyn Deal is here. Now, Carolyn is the business development representative.
That's right.
And next to her is Pam Irby. And Pam is an account manager.
Yes.
And we have a need right now and ongoing for people to give blood. And there is kind of a shortage, and we're heading into Labor Day and the school year and holidays, and the need is always there, but probably it's heightened at that time.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
So you are for 4 states. Now tell me about that.
Well, I am, as the business development rep, my job is to find new blood drive sponsors in Western North Carolina, upstate South Carolina, a little bit of Eastern Tennessee, and a couple of counties in Northeast Georgia.
So you really have 4 states.
4 states.
That you need people to come forward. And who do you depend on more than other people?
More than other people? Well, as far as sponsors go, we work a whole lot with colleges and schools, the high schools, middle schools, and even the elementary schools. We count on businesses, civic organizations. Lots of times it's just an individual who has a penchant to help. Churches.
Okay, so when you talk about this, you're talking about, for instance, a business or a church could set aside a day and have a blood drive.
Exactly, they could. There would need to be someone in charge, and there's a little more to it than just hanging up a poster and thinking people will show up. The main reason that anyone will tell you that they've never donated blood is because no one ever asked them. So the best way to get a blood donor is to ask them personal, face-to-face. If I have a blood drive, will you donate blood? And so that's where the work comes in. The work is the recruitment. On blood drive day, that's the easy part. The majority of the work has been done prior to blood drive day.
So you set aside a certain day in various places, and you have to get the word out. And
exactly.
People can come. Now, it's painless. It's not a big deal, is it?
It's not a big deal. No, it's not a big deal.
How long does it take?
It takes about, from beginning to end, it takes about 45 minutes. Part of that 45 minutes is your check-in, reading your pre-donation educational materials, and then you have a little mini physical.
You want to be sure people are okay.
And report your health history, and if you pass all that, then you go into the donor chair. The draw of the blood takes not more than 15 minutes. The average is about 7 minutes that it takes.
And this blood goes then to hospitals and...
Yes. The American Red Cross is the primary supplier for 2,700 hospitals in the United States and was commissioned by Congress many years ago to be a backup supplier to all hospitals in the United States. So we are, that's our mission, and that's our charge, to make sure that there is a good, safe blood supply available wherever it's needed.
And you know, we think about, well, it's so simple, but there are different types of blood. So when somebody's been in an accident, for instance, and they bring them into the hospital, that person, if they need to know that that blood type is there to save their life.
Well, that's right, but now O negative is the universal blood type, and in emergency situations, anyone can receive O negative.
Okay.
So that's the reason those people with that O negative blood type, that blood's considered gold in our industry, because there's so much need for it.
I don't even
all
know
the
what my
time.
blood type is. I don't. It's not something we think about very much, you
That's
know.
right.
So, should people know that?
Should they know
they
their
know
blood
their
type?
blood type?
Well, it's always a good idea to know your blood type, but I think that you can feel safe in knowing that if you don't know your blood type, you can take O negative if you need blood.
Okay, now, Pam, I want to ask you something.
Sure.
You have a real story,
I do.
and would you share with us about you lost your husband?
I did. My husband was diagnosed with colon cancer, and it was
Colon cancer.
colon cancer.
Oh, boy.
It's yeah, and at the time of his diagnosis, he needed a lot of blood, and without that blood, I wouldn't have had him for 4 more years.
So in other words, you think that he lived 4 years beyond what they thought he might live because he had blood given to him.
Yeah, if he hadn't had the blood the day that we took him to the emergency room, he would not be with me today. And not just blood, you know, throughout the process of his surgeries and through chemotherapy, he had to have platelets as well. So without people going in and donating that, my husband wouldn't have lived 4 more years to see his first grandchild and to be with me. So, and people that gave that blood are angels in heaven, because I got to keep him 4 years.
And of course, you never know. When you
No.
give blood, you never know what life you may save.
And who you're going to touch. It could be your neighbor, it could be your own child. You don't know where your blood's being used, but it's being used to save a life. 1 unit of blood touches 3 lives.
Now, wait a minute. When you say 1 unit, what do you?
When you go in to donate, they take 1 unit, which is like one bag of blood. It touches 3 lives. Then once it leaves you and goes to our processing center, it can touch up to 3 lives.
So there's enough blood out of one time to save 3 people.
Yes, ma'am.
That's amazing.
It is, and people don't realize that blood's given. It has to be donated. You can't go out and manufacture it. You can't buy it. It's a donation. It's something that we can give only.
Now, we do have a website, www.redcrossblood.org. Now, what age can somebody, you mentioned middle school, that they're just children.
But they're great recruiters.
Oh.
If you've got a little one looking up at you and saying, would you donate blood for me since I'm too young, and then when I get older, I'll donate blood for you just in case you need it. It's hard to tell one of those youngsters no.
But at what age can you legally donate blood?
You can donate blood at 16 years old with a parental permission slip signed. Other than that, you have to have had your 17th birthday.
And then there's no age limit.
There's no upper age limit, and we have lots of blood donors that have already seen their 90th birthday. We have lots of them and have donated gallons upon gallons upon gallons of blood, have been doing it all their life.
That's an amazing thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when people go in to give blood, they're asked, you don't just take anybody. I mean, somebody's got to be pretty healthy. You don't want people giving blood who have some sort of a disease.
Right. That's
How
why
do you determine that?
Well, that's why we have our questionnaire that people fill out, and we expect people to fill that honestly, and we do a mini physical.
So you're depending upon the person to share honest
Yes,
information
we
with
are.
you.
Yes.
We also have a testing lab, and the blood is tested extensively before it would be put into our inventory.
So if I came and gave blood, you would test that blood before you send it to a hospital or
Yes,
whatever.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's the first thing that happens.
As a
with it.
safety precaution.
Mm-hmm.
And we do extensive tests.
All right, now what don't you take? If somebody comes in there and said, I'm willing to give blood, but I have so-and-so and so-and-so, you don't want those people. What do
Well,
you do?
You don't want people who have been, is on a blood thinner, I mean, we appreciate them coming in and trying, but we don't want to put them in danger by taking their blood. So, if
So
they've
if they're
traveled,
taking blood thinners, they're not eligible.
they're not, no.
What else? Anything?
If they've traveled within the last year to a different country, if they've been to Africa, and you can go on our website and there's a list you can look and see, because a lot of mission trips, a lot of vacations go to different countries. And so you have to wait a year on some of those countries for you're eligible to donate again.
That's mostly malarial risk
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah, could be dangerous because, yeah. So now, you have to have medical people on site. Somebody has to really know what they're doing, right?
Yes.
Yes, they do, and our staff, they have constant training. They are constantly retraining and recertifying in certain procedures, so that to be sure that they know what they're doing.
So you're looking, right now, you need people to give blood. You need all over the area. Okay, and do you need also businesses, schools, or
We do.
churches
do.
to come forward and say, okay, you can use our facility?
Yes.
And then how do you do it?
Yes.
Then you set up a day?
Well, we would go to have a meeting with the person who is interested in doing it, check their facility to see that they have the appropriate space. If not, we have a bus that we could bring, as long as they have a nice level parking area for it. We would find out what they expect their donor base would be. We have to know that they have a large enough group to work with, to where we can expect that we will get the blood that we come after. It'd be very expensive to bring the equipment and the staff out of Asheville any distance to arrive, and then
And maybe
donors
3
not
people
show
come.
up.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't afford to do that, so we work with that sponsor and show them how to recruit donors and try to get them to recruit the donors up front, so that when we get there, there are actually people who have appointments to donate.
So how far ahead do you plan all this?
Well, we like to, in some instances, we do that as much as 6 months in advance.
Okay.
In some instances, we can do that with as little turnaround time as we can do it very efficiently with as little turnaround time as 8 weeks sometimes. Generally, our calendar is full at that 8-week mark.
Okay.
But just like anything else, we have cancellations from time to time for various reasons. So we might have a hole in our calendar and can slide somebody right in there easily.
We are going to go to a quick break, and we have more information, life-saving information. We'll be right back.